What I'm recording today is my personal experience in life. Experience which has taught me that young, tender minds can be hurt, and hurt to such an extent that probably, for all you know, it can never be mended again. This personal experience, or rather testimony of mine, is meant for all the school teachers, for the administrators of schools, for the vice principals and principals, who are the guardians of children, who are the guardians of pupils, students, while they are away from home. Well, I'll not take much time. This dates back to the year 1978, month of August. If I am not mistaken, the date should be around, say, 9th or 10th of August 1978. I was studying in one of the most prestigious schools in Cuttack, Orissa. And we had this teacher who was also the vice principal, whose name I am going to change now for reasons of privacy, for reasons of not hurting his family members, as he is no more now. Well, Mr. Gupta was a very serious person. He was a strict disciplinarian, and sometimes we boys felt, not boys exactly, it was a co-ed school, but majority of the students were boys only. We had, in fact, only 2 girls in our particular section. So you can say that, we students felt that he sometimes used to go overboard with his strictness. Well, I remember that on that particular day in August, he asked the students that how many of you have done the assignment which I had asked you to do. That was actually an assignment which was given in Hindi, a lengthy assignment, and for which he had given a very unreasonable short period of only 2 days to complete around 25 pages. Now, when he asked the questions, asked this question, say around 5 students stood up, and the remaining 35 students did not stand up because obviously they hadn't done the assignment. He was furious. He said, didn't I tell you fellows to complete the assignment? Now I am going to punish you. You have to stay back after school, and you will not be allowed to go till such time you complete the assignments and show it to me. I was literally shocked at this command of his. Because, folks, I want to tell you, my father was working for Aviation Research Center, ARC Chabatia, which was about 23 to 25 kilometers away from my school, and we had a lonely uh, bus schedule. Like there used to be only one bus which used to take us from home to school, and this guy used to stay there. This driver used to stay there in Barbati Stadium premises, and then he used to pick us back after school, and he used to take us. So it was around 25 kilometers away, and there was no other mode of communication from school back home. So I was really shocked, and I knew that completing the assignment would take not less than 1 hour, more than 1 hour it would take. So I went very humbly to Mr. Gupta after the class got over, and I said, "Sir, very sorry for what has happened. I have completed only 10 pages of the assignment, and the remaining pages, sir, if you allow me, I'll go home and tomorrow I shall bring the assignment without fail." He didn't bother to reply me back, and curtly he walked out, giving his usual frown. So then I went along with all the students after school, and we were asked to sit in the veranda and complete our assignment. So like I said, that there were around 40-45 students, and only 5 had completed the assignment. Now while we were doing the assignments, 5 minutes got over. Within 10 minutes, some 5 parents came and they took their children away. They came in cars, and they requested Mr. Gupta, and he allowed them to go. Now after some time, I remember my friend Anil, he came running, and he said, my name, pet name was Georgie. So he said, "Georgie, hey, the bus is waiting for you, man. It will go away anytime." So he said it quite loudly, so that could be heard by Mr. Gupta also. Mr. Gupta pretended as if not to hear, and then I went very humbly to him, to Mr. Gupta, and requested, "Sir, my bus is waiting for me, and if I don't go, it will leave me, and then I'll have a lot of problem." He said, "If you are going, then tomorrow you will not be allowed to enter into class." Now I want to remind you guys that about 5 minutes back, some 5 children left with their parents, and they had not completed the assignment, and they had parents to take them, and the parents could have come later on and taken them also. But I had sufficient reason, sufficient excuse, because my house was 23 kilometers away. But Mr. Gupta said, "Nothing doing, you will not be allowed to go." So I told Anil, "You just tell the driver to wait for about few minutes more. I'll complete the assignment and come." So I started hurrying up, but I knew that I can't complete the assignment before half an hour. After 10 minutes again, Anil comes running, and he says that the bus driver is getting very angry, and he's saying that he's going to leave you, so please come. Then I again went to Mr. Gupta and requested him. So bus is waiting for me, and I'll have to go. So the same answer came, that if you go, you will not be able to enter into the class again. Now, what should a boy who is in the 10th standard, who doesn't have any knowledge about going back from Cuttack to Chabatia, and it was almost the time was around, if I'm not mistaken, say 3:30 or so. So I knew that I can't go back alone. So I told Mr. Gupta, "Sir, I'm very sorry. Tomorrow I'll complete the assignment. Come." And so I left. He just gave me a dirty look, and he said, "Okay, you go, but tomorrow you can't come into my class." Next day I came back, I completed the assignment, came back and I sat in my seat. When Hindi class came, Mr. Gupta came inside the class and immediately he pointed out to me. He told me to stand up and get out of the class. I started saying, sir, all those things. I started arguing with him, but it was pointless. He told me to get out. I went out and I stayed out the whole day in the hot August afternoon, sweating my way outside the class. And believe me, there was no sufficient protection also. The sun was directly coming inside the veranda where I was standing. After some time, another teacher by name Mr. Pradhan comes, and this name is right. Okay. Mr. Pradhan, the history teacher, comes and he sees me. He sees me there in the hot sun, and he says, "Son, what are you doing here, man? George, go inside." So I said, "No, sir, I've been punished by Mr. Gupta." "For what reason?" I said like this. I almost started crying. He said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Okay. So, but that whole day went. No one took care of me. Next day again, I was asked to get out. And since he was the vice principal, he told the other teachers not to allow me to get inside the class. So they had to obey the vice principal. So I was standing outside the class from the first period. Around after a recess, again Mr. Pradhan comes and he says, "Oh, George, I completely forgot." Okay, don't worry, I will. So then I remember it was a Friday, August 11th. Yeah. So 1978, August 11th, 1978, Friday. Mr. Pradhan said, "I will talk to Mr. Gupta. I am a senior person here and I will see that you go inside the class." Then Mr. Pradhan but didn't come back, and the last bell rang and I picked up my bag and left. Next day was a second Saturday. It was holiday. Otherwise also every Saturday is a holiday in my school. And my father, being second Saturday, and he also had a holiday and he was taking rest, sleeping, and he had a massive attack while he was sleeping and he died. That was the first and last attack, and we are terribly shaken. My dad died on 12th of August 1978. My bosom friend Abby Thomas, he came cycling all the way from Cuttack where he was staying. He came cycling all the way up from Cuttack to Chabatiya the next day. Somehow the news reached him that my dad had died, and Sunday he came, and and today he is my brother-in-law. I have married his sister. Now that apart, then everything got over, and 15th my dad was last rites were performed. He was buried. Funeral service was held on 15th, and if I'm not mistaken, on 16th I returned back. 16th I returned back, and as soon as I returned back into the class, all my classmates came and they hugged me, because I was a very friendly guy. They loved me a lot. My brother-in-law probably would have told them about this thing, what happened. And so also my teachers came and they said, "Don't worry, George, this is the providence of God, and we will help you for everything. Don't worry. And I was in the 10th standard, mind you. I was in the 10th standard. My board exams were due. So my teachers told me, we'll take care of you, don't worry about anything. You see that you'll do well. You'll definitely do well, don't worry. And I went and sat in the class thinking that everything is forgotten. Mr. Gupta comes and he points out to me and says, get out of the class. George, why are you sitting here? Now I presume that Mr. Gupta should have been knowing, because all the other teachers came and he was somewhere near the campus. He was staying in the campus only. So he should have been knowing about what happened to me. But he told me to get out. I cried. But he didn't listen. He said, get out. I was standing in the corridor, and again Mr. Pradhan comes and he asked me, Hey George, why are you standing outside? Your dad has died and all. Mr. Gupta doesn't know about it. I said, sir, I don't know about that, but I have been asked to get out of the class. Now let me tell you, the incident happened on 10th, and for 2 days I was outside in the hot sun. My dad died on 12th, came back to school on 16th. Around 5 days had passed since the incident and tragedy had taken place in my family. But Mr. Gupta stuck on to his rules. Tragedy or no tragedy, he had asked me to get out of the class. He told me not to get into without completing the assignment to go. So he had all the right to ask me to vacate the classroom. Now Mr. Pradhan, he became very angry. And what I remember, he told me, George, you go and stand in the shade. I'll go and speak to Mr. Gupta. And he went straight to Gupta, and I could hear them. I could hear some noise there. After some time, Mr. Pradhan catches me by the hand and he says, come on, get inside the class. Even while Mr. Gupta was there. And Mr. Gupta didn't say a word. Now let me tell you, this incident had a very drastic effect in my life. I could never forgive Mr. Gupta for what he had done. I always had 3 questions in my mind. First question was that when other children were allowed to go, when their parents came, I was not allowed to go, even though I had a solid reason for being excused. The second thing that troubled me was that 2 days I was asked to stand in the hot sunshine, even though I had completed my assignment. The third thing was that even after my dad died, my teacher could not forgive me. This had a very, very lasting effect on me. And I should say that, we Christians are supposed to, I should not be saying Christians, as human beings, we are supposed to forgive others. And as a Christian particularly, I have been taught that, forgive people, and when one person slaps you on one cheek, show him the other cheek. I did all this. I rehearsed through all these things. I made some good confessions, and I even went for some retreats where I expressed all this to the spiritual guides, and they told me that absolutely don't worry about it, you just forgive this person, don't keep the bitterness. But even now, while I am 52 years of age, somewhere, some corner of my heart, I have this bitterness for this Mr. Gupta. The other portion of my heart fills up with love, gratitude, respect, and honor for Mr. Pradhan. who came and who understood my plight and who allowed me to go inside. Now I just want to ask a question to all the people who are in charge of taking care of the students in school. Keep a hand on your heart and tell me, would you like to be Mr. Pradhan or would you like to be Mr. Gupta? Would you like to be a person who unconditionally loves someone? Even I was not in Mr. Pradhan's class. He had taught me in the previous classes. I mean, in fact, he was a history teacher. I think probably, he would have taught in this class also. But he had more regards, respect, and he treated me like a human being. Whereas Mr. Gupta only wanted to be a stickler of rules. He kept the rules but broke the spirit. This is what I want to tell all people who are in the teaching line. Never hurt a pupil. Be reasonable to him. Be fair to him. Yes, he might have done some mistake, but don't let it cross the limits. Don't break his heart. Because I'll tell you one thing. The cry that comes out of that child's heart, that can have a drastic effect on your own lifestyle. And I started hating authorities. I had a hatred for higher authorities. I did not want to be curtailed by strict people or higher authorities. And even though I used to respect them, but somewhere in my heart I used to link them with Mr. Gupta. They probably are like that, even though they don't show it. So that has never actually gone away from my heart, even though I would really love to, completely erase my heart of this kind of emotion. So, don't hurt someone, especially this age group of adolescents. They are very mild. They have to be taken care of. In fact, instead of punishing them, probably punish them, but don't punish them that much that they start hating you. But treat them with a sense of concern, with a sense of love, respect. Make them understand where they are going wrong. Probably that will be more fruitful and more long lasting. They will have tremendous respect for you. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for listening so patiently. Thank you once again. God bless you. Bye.